Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and let's get ready for EJ Boxing Live.
Best fighter out there was a middleweight, the middleweight champion, Stanley Ketchel, the Michigan assassin. And there was never quite an assurance that he was human in the ring.
He was a brutal middleweight. You know, he's kind of a guy that you have to kill before you could knock him out.
Ketchel won the vacated world middleweight title in September of 1907, 2 years ago, when he KO'd the slugging Joe Thomas in the 32nd round in San Francisco. But it wasn't until Stanley KO'd the great Mike Twin Sullivan in the opening round just last year that he gained worldwide recognition as middleweight champion. Ketchel began his ring career in 1903, 6 years ago. In 55 professional fights, the champion has lost only 3. In his second year as a professional, Ketchel lost 2 close, hard-fought decisions to Maurice Thompson in Butte, Montana. His only other loss was the 12th round knockout at the hands of this Billy Papke 8 months ago. This is the 4th meeting between these 2 great middleweights. Stanley Ketchel in the darker trunks took a 10-round non-title decision from Papke in their first meeting in June of 1908, and then 3 months later lost his middleweight title to Papke by a 12th round knockout. In their last meeting 8 months ago, Ketchel regained the precious crown by scoring a sensational 11th round knockout over the tough Billy Papke in San Francisco. Stanley Ketchel in the dark trunks is known in the fighting profession affectionately as the Michigan Assassin. There's nothing affectionate about the punches he throws. Ketchel began his ring career in 1903, 6 years ago. In 55 professional fights, the champion has lost only 3. In his second year as a professional, Ketchel lost 2 close, hard-fought decisions to Maurice Thompson in Butte, Montana. His only other loss was the 12th round knockout at the hands of this Billy Papke 8 months ago. In final round, the champion is definitely ahead in the scoring. If Ketchel in dark trunks successfully defends his world middleweight title today, he has already been scheduled to meet heavyweight champion Jack Johnson for the world heavyweight title. Stanley would be giving away over 50 pounds in that one.
Best fighter out there was a middleweight, the middleweight champion, Stanley Ketchel, the Michigan assassin. And there was never quite an assurance that he was human in the ring.
He was a brutal middleweight. You know, he's kind of a guy that you have to kill before you could knock him out.
On the 16th of October, 1909, America put its money on little Stanley Ketchel, though with little optimism.
First time against Stanley Ketchel, Colma, California, 16th of October, 1909.
Here we go into round 1. Johnson, much the larger man. Stanley Ketchel is known both as the Michigan Marvel and the Michigan Assassin. He's a great 2-fisted puncher. He's famous for his left shift, in which he moves to his left but comes in fast with a right lead, followed by a left hook, a tricky combination. Today is the great moment in Stan Ketchel's life. If he wins, he'll be the first fighter in all history to hold both middleweight and heavyweight titles at the same time. The end of round 10. Ketchel's badly cut up and hurt, but Johnson's not even breathing hard. In the 11th round, Johnson smashes Ketchel all over the ring. Now round 12, Colma, California, October 16th, 1909. Johnson is down. It was a terrific right to the jaw. The referee's count seems fast. Johnson's up at 8. He's mad. Ketchel's excited, comes in wide open, takes a right square on the jaw. They're both down. Johnson gets up and the referee counts over Ketchel. The great Stanley Ketchel, the Michigan assassin, is out cold. Jack Johnson retains his heavyweight championship of the world.
Ketchel leaps in with a swinging right, catching Johnson behind the ear, and down goes Johnson. And he puts out his arm and sort of steadies himself, but he does go down. I mean, he's visible. Pops right back up, and as Ketchel runs in for the finishing touch, throws one deep dish Ketchel goes out, sort of lying there like crucifixion on the canvas, while Johnson leans against the ropes and picks 4 of his teeth out of his glove.
Here's Stanley Ketchel, middleweight. He's fairly well-known middleweight. He was kind of flamboyant. He challenged Jack Johnson. He was dominant in his weight class, challenged Jack Johnson, don't recall the year, 1910 maybe, and was able to knock down Johnson in one of the rounds, but Johnson pretty much manhandled him, and Stanley Ketchel was never the same after that. But his claim to fame, had a tough series of battles with Billy Papke. Ketchel himself, and these are the kind of stories I like. After he lost to Johnson, he got hold of one of his rich friends who owned a ranch, and he hired Stanley Ketchel to be a kind of overseer, a foreman, which at that time meant, you had to be a tough guy. Ketchel had his revolver, brought a revolver, and basically he was flirting with one of the females, the housekeeper of the wealthy friend on the ranch, during a lunch break, and her jealous husband shot Stanley Ketchel in the back, killing him. That's a story, but at the same time, there's another story that says they were out to rob him. Indeed, the two of them ran away. She was tried as well. She was let go out of prison after a year, but the killer remained in prison until he was eventually paroled. This must be against Billy Papke here.
Right, this is the one that Papke won.
Yeah, what happened here is the referee, who I think was Jim Jeffries.
Big enough to be him, yes.
Yeah, he introduced them, and Ketchel held his gloves out to shake hands, and Papke belted him right away, and sent Ketchel to the floor. And Ketchel was knocked down 3 times that first round, but he lasted 11 rounds, still all foggy, and Papke ended up winning. But Ketchel got his revenge in subsequent battles. But Papke was a good fighter in his own right.
They still revere the memory of Stanley Ketchel, a wild man who was one of the world's great middleweight champions almost a century ago. They called him the Michigan Assassin, and the nickname proved ironic. Ketchel died aged only 24, shot in the back while eating his breakfast.
DJ Boxing Live here, DJ Boxing Live here.